Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy AI Legends, and yeah, guys, I am back with the next part of what if Naruto had infinite chakra and was neglected by his family. So, without any further ado, let us start our video. But before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. So, come on, guys, if you guys are new to this channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, then what are you guys waiting for? Please, guys, do so because it will really help me a lot as I want to reach 10k as quick as possible, so it will really help me a lot. So yeah guys, without any further ado, let us start our video, and I hope that you guys will like this part. And for the next part, the like goal is going to be, let's see, 300 likes and 180 comments to that, and I shall upload the next part today. So it really depends upon you guys. So without any further ado, let us start our video. Last time we left off as we saw that how Menma and Mito has finally arrived from their 3 years training trip from Jiraiya. This time both of them were a bit mature, though on not that level, but still pretty well, as they realized that they no longer have the ninth chakra, as it was pretty hard for them for pretty, you can say, 2 or 3 months, as they had to fight off on their own skills, as they realized that how weak they are actually compared to many shinobi in the world, though they did not had no longer had that amount of chakra in them to just pop out a lot of shadow clones and get all of their injuries healed in no time whatsoever, though they had to work pretty hard as Jiraiya was there to training both of them. While on the other hand, you can say Naruto, along with Sasuke and Itachi, has finally returned back to the village, as Menma challenged Naruto along with Mito, wanted to see that how much they have progressed in this time, but Sasuke and Kiyomi arrived as they said that how they were the one who they fought in the Chunin exams, as they want to see that how strong they have gotten, as it was, you can say, battle was just begin when you can say the information of Gaara being kidnapped by the hands of Akatsuki finally arrived to Minato as he stopped the battle and then sent Naruto, Itachi, Kiyomi, as well as, you can say, Naruto along with Kakashi to this team. And without any further ado, let us start our video from here on, as Itachi was standing outside, you can say, far from the village, as they were going with a pretty incredible speed, as they were simply jumping from tree branch to tree branch, and then Itachi stopped everyone. As everyone stopped, as Kakashi looked towards Itachi. Itachi, what's wrong? As Itachi said, well, in this space we can reach to the sand village in 2 days, but it's Akatsuki we are talking about. Who knows? At this time, they might have even extracted the one tail from it. As Kakashi looked towards Itachi, and what should we do about it? You know that even if we go at our fastest speed, we cannot reach to that location before 2 days, even with our fastest speed. As Itachi smirked, well, it has been some time, but I think that we have to fly there. As Kakashi was a bit confused, as Sasuke rolled his eyes, show off, as Itachi smirked at that, as it was pretty, you can say, not the character of Itachi, but he just wanted to show off. As then his Mangekyo shotgun started to spin rapidly, and then the rib cage and then the half body of Susanoo arrived, as Kakashi was pretty confused about the whole situation. He knew about the Susanoo and all, but it does not provide them the speed which is required to reach the sand village. As then Itachi smirked by looking towards Kakashi, and then boom, as you can say, a gigantic Susanoo was formed. As then Kakashi's eyes widened, though it was not as big as Naruto's as far as he remembered in the Chunin exams, but it was damn gigantic. As Itachi smirked, and then he grabbed, you can say, put a hand of Susanoo to the ground, as Naruto said, come on, Kakashi-san, we have many things to do. As Kakashi was dumbfounded, as then he simply jumped, you can say, on the hand of Susanoo, as everyone entered inside of the Susanoo. As then Itachi said, alright, hang in tight, as he jumped to the air, as his, you can say, wings spread as he started to fly towards the sand village, as Kakashi was dumbfounded, as he has never seen a, you can say, shinobi flying, though he was the one who was flying in it as well, pretty proud of himself. As then Itachi said, well, we shall reach there in no time whatsoever. As Kyumi speak up, well, Itachi-Nisa, it seems that you have developed your perfect Susanoo. It seems that the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is going pretty well. As Itachi smirked, well, I was the first one to develop this. As Naruto, you can say, coughed a little and said, well, perhaps you've forgotten, I was the one who pulled out even stronger Susanoo than this in the Chunin exams. As Itachi nodded, as Sasuke was mumbling about the prodigies and genius, as he was the last one to develop his perfect Susanoo. As Kakashi was dumbfounded. There was a time when he was considered the second strongest, or even among the elites, but now these kids has surpassed him long shot. If one of them could pull out even half of this Susanoo, Kakashi will have a hard time. Though he is pretty sure that there is no technique which he actually knows which can bypass the defense and the offensive power of the Susanoo. Well, it does not matter, as after you can say half of the day of flying, finally they landed in this sand village in the desert. As Itachi landed, as then Kyomi said, we are not in the sand village right now, Itachi-Nisa. As Itachi said, well, we do not want to scare them. They have been just fighting the Akatsuki members. If I just fly my perfect Susanoo there, they would be panic. As everyone agree with that, as they rush towards, you can say, sand village with incredible speed. And after some time, they have finally arrived there. In this time, you can say Kankuro was just being admitted to the hospital, as Lady Chio was trying her best to find a cure, but she was getting lost in it all. And after some time, you can say at the gates, the Chunins were pretty nervous about the whole situation. They did not have their Kazekage. What if some village tried to attack them at this position? And their eyes widened when several shinobis were coming, as they were in a bit of panic. But then they realized the, you can say, leaf headband, as they finally got relief on that. As one of the guards looked towards the coming shinobi, as he looked towards Itachi, as he said, "Halt!" As all of them stopped and said, "Why are you guys here?" As Itachi explained the mission and how they are here to retreat the Kazekage, as their eyes widened, this was the legendary Itachi Uchiha and the copy ninja Kakashi Hatake, as they were pretty happy and now they can finally be secured and their Kazekage could be saved. As right now inside of the village it's pretty panic because it is just, you can say, a one day has passed since their Kazekage was abducted. So they were pretty in panic more as they rushed towards the hospital where they can get a lot of information where Baki is, along with, you can say, Kankuro, who has some information on the Akatsuki member. As they entered inside of the Akatsuki, you can say, Kazekage mentioned, as Kyomi looked towards Kankuro, who was pretty in pain, as they started to explain the situation to the Konoha Nin. As Itachi said, "Don't worry about the Kankuro, my sister can handle it, right?" As he looked towards Kyomi, who smiled, "Don't worry about it, Itachi-Nisa, I will not let you down." As Itachi smiled at that, as they rushed towards, you can say, Kankuro, and started to heal her as Naruto speak up. So, what should we do? As after some time, as Itachi said, "Well, we have to wait for it. After all, we do have to find information about this Akatsuki member." As Naruto simply nodded at that, as he simply, you can say, sit on the ground and started to feel the presence of all the Suna. As his, you can say, all of this time of training, his sensory abilities expanded to a level that he can find many things, as his sensory ability could go over, you can say, half of a nation if he used all of his power, and that is saying something. Half of a nation is pretty much. As Naruto tried to sense, and then he was finally able to get two suppressed chakra signatures, though easily could be tell a Kage level, and the third one seems to be a Biju level. As he opened his eyes, "Well, I have found them. They are going to the south." As Itachi simply nodded, as Kakashi looked towards Naruto, pretty surprised. "And how do you know that, huh?" As Naruto said, "Well, that is pretty easy." As Lady Chio also arrived, wanted to hear what is this kid saying. As Naruto said, "Well, my sensory abilities have raised in this time pretty well, and I can sense them. Right now, they are pretty far away, several miles." As Kakashi's eyes widened at that, those shinobis who can sense even a mile were said to be elites, and this one is telling that they are several miles. What does he actually mean? As Lady Geo speak up, "What do you mean by that, young one? I'm a sensor as well, and I can tell there is no one in the whole world who can sense from a miles away." As Naruto simply shrugged, "Well, I'm pretty unique, you know. My name is..." As Lady Geo looked towards him a bit suspiciously and said, "Your appearance does remind me of someone. Who exactly are you? What is your name?" As Naruto smirked at that, "My name is Eternal Naruto." As Lady Geo thought about it for some time, as well as all the shinobis in there, they had heard that name before, and then this finally realization struck to their heads as their eyes widened, as Lady Geo said, "What? You're that kid who almost destroyed half of the Suna shinobi in the Leaf invasion, right?" As Naruto smirked and said, "One and only, huh?" As all the Suna shinobi were in a shock. They had heard that kid was an S-rank shinobi, pulled out a gigantic figure who defeated Shikaku like it was nothing, and even killed Orochimaru, said to be only shinobi to ever get SSS rank in the bingo book. as they were in utter awe as Naruto said, "Don't worry, I'm friend with Gaara right now. Though those are only old times, now I can easily sense him. So get the information we need, Itachi." As Itachi simply nodded as he walked towards Kankuro, who was now breathing heavily as Itachi met with his eyes and said, "Don't worry, it will not take much of a time," as his eyes glowed with the Mangekyo Sharingan as he got all the information that he actually required about this mission, about Sasori and Deidara. And Deidara seems to be that powerful as he nodded at that and said, "Well, I got the information. Lead the way, Naruto." As Naruto only smirked at that as he rushed towards the gates as Naruto said, "Well, it will not take much time. They are getting there pretty early. So let us go." As they rushed towards the, you can say, desert and rushed towards the main position. As they were approaching both of them pretty quickly as Deidara and Sasori has just entered in the cave as all the figures of Pain as well as the Akatsuki member has just arrived as they started the, you can say, extraction process. And then Pain said, "Well, as Black Zetsu arrived, well, Lord Pain, it seems that the Konoha shinobi has arrived to the Suna as well as they are rushing towards this area. I do not know how they are able to find you guys, but it seems that they are coming to this direction." As Deidara said, "What? So early, huh?" As Sasori said, "Well, I wonder how is that even possible." As they were wondering about that, as Pain speak out, "Well, it doesn't matter if they're coming here or not. You guys will stop him." As he looked towards Kisame as well as his member, you can say another member of the seven deadly swordsmen, as both of them simply nodded as they started to perform their jutsu in which they transferred 30% of their power to a clone and they will fight off against these shinobis and distract them until they, you can say, extract the chakra. As Pain nodded and then, you can say, several figures started to appear and then they started to go through hand sign and speeding up the process as well. As these figures seem to have the Rinnegan as well. This surprises many, you can say, many of the Akatsuki members, but they did not question the leader as the extraction started to go even faster and faster, while on the other hand, the shinobi as Naruto smirked. "Well, it seems that we have company." As Kakashi said, "Who are they, Naruto? And what are their chakra reserves?" As Naruto said, "Don't worry, they are not anything special, we can easily handle them. Though, I wondered if they are even original to begin with." As while on the other hand, Lady Chiyo were thinking about her grandson, as how as then everyone saw a sword was coming towards them with incredible speed. As then Itachi, you can say, Kiyomi's eyes, you can say, turned into the Mangekyo Sharingan and then a pink arm extracted from her body and grabbing the sword like it was nothing and deflecting it as it was the sword of Samehara. As finally Kisame arrived as they grabbed the sword, chuckling and said, "Well, it seemed that we have some strong shinobis here." As Itachi as Sasuke was mumbling that he was the one who's going to show off his abilities, as Kiyomi smiled at that, showing off to Sasuke that she was the one who activated the Mangekyo first, as Sasuke was mumbling something under his breath as both Naruto and everyone simply ignored them. As Naruto said, "Well, these seem to be only distractions, we do not have time for them." As you could go through hand sign and then a big stream of fire started to rush towards both of these shinobi. Both of them seem to have different type of swords as Kisame smirked as he then pulled out his Samehara as Samehara started to absorb all the fire as Naruto's eyes widened for some time as he said, so that sword can absorb chakra, huh? Well, let's say if he can absorb this." As his eyes changed into the Mangekyo Sharingan as the black flame started to rush towards Kisame. As Kisame tried to absorb it, and that was the mistake as Samehara started to burn along with Kisame's body as he started to scream, but it was already way too late. After all, it was just a clone and not the original Samehara, so it cannot absorb the black flames. While on the other hand, Sasuke simply vanished from the eyes of everyone, slamming his Chidori into the second one and electrocuting it to the point where it was nothing but a different body. As everyone noticed the bodies and all, as Kakashi spoke out, "Well, it seemed that they used some kind of jutsu to possess these bodies with their chakra." As they simply nodded at that, as Naruto said, "Well, we do not have time to handle these people. Now we have other things to deal with. Come on." As everyone agreed on that and rushed towards, you can say, the main point. And finally they arrived as Kiyomi smirked, "Allow me the honors, huh?" As she see the, you can say, big boulder that was there, as she slammed her fist into it and then As you can say, several seals arrive, making the copies of everyone there, and they rush towards them. As Naruto sigh, well, Kiyomi, you should have noticed that they were seals. As Kiyomi giggled a little, as Sasuke said, allow me the honors. Well, it would be easy. As his eyes turned into the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Kakashi also bring out his Sharingan, but before anyone could say anything, as Naruto had finally enough, for an instant his body glowed with, you can say, bluish chakra, and it was a blue blood, and everyone, all the copies simply were on the ground and burst into nothingness, as no one, even with their activated Mangekyo or eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, noticed a thing. While on the other hand, Boulder was already destroyed and dust was erupting, and then both Sasori, Deidara, and all the members of Akatsuki narrowed their eyes. From the dust, a single person was walking, and it was none other than Eternal Naruto, as Naruto glared at all of them. And by releasing a bit of his chakra, a shiver go through, you can say, Black Zetsu, as he simply sunk into the ground, vanishing from that area, as well as Deidara and Sasori were also surprised at that level of chakra that was high Kage level or even above it. As Naruto looked towards Gaara, who seems to be in the mid of air, his chakra been extracted, as Naruto could feel that half of the Shikaku's chakra was extracted in a single day. As Pain grated his teeth, pretty angry about the whole situation, as he looked towards Deidara and Sasori. Handle him, he's the new 9th Jinchuriki. Don't kill him, if possible capture him. As all of them simply agree on that, and then the Gedo statue simply vanished from there, and Gaara was on the ground as Deidara smirked, already knowing what he should do, as he grabbed Gaara in a bird and then said, well, 9th Jinchuriki, though I was pretty intrigued when I learned that how your siblings has lost the 9th chakra and you have become their new Jinchuriki. Well, pretty intriguing if you ask me. As Naruto was not, you can say, saying anything, as Itachi, Sasuke, Kiyomi and Kakashi also arrived, as Sasori narrowed his eyes towards his grandmother and all these shinobis who were there. Kakashi, an S-rank shinobi, Itachi, an S-rank, Naruto definitely an S-rank. While on the other hand, these two does not seem much, but they are definitely Uchihas and have the Mangekyo Sharingan in their eyes, as you could see that, and that is no joke. This battle was not in their favor. They have to retreat, otherwise they will definitely die here. As they just smirk, well, it's about time that I show you the art. It's an explosion, and then he released several, you can say, small spiders from his hand, rushing towards all the shinobis, and there was a big boom. And when everything cleared, there was a purple Susanoo around everyone. As Sasuke was smirking, finally he got the chance to show his power of the Susanoo. But Naruto was not inside of it, as Deidara noticed that as his eyes widened, he was barely able to jump out of the way, as a fist was slammed into it, as all the, you can say, whole area of the cave simply burst into nothingness, as Gaara, you can say, was sent flying along with the bird, because bird started to fly within the air, still grabbing Gaara, as Deidara's eyes widened at the punch where his head was, as Sasori said, Deidara, we cannot handle them, we have to retreat. As Deidara nodded as he tried to jump onto his bird by making another one, but it was already too late, as Naruto kicked him so hard, but he, at the, you can say, at the nick of time, he was able to substitute with a clay clone, as Sasori released a lot of, you can say, small of sandbones from his tail, rushing towards them, as not only glared at him, as a force of power rushed towards the sandbone, completely destroying them. As Sasori's eyes widened at that, a force was slammed into him, breaking his puppet into nothingness, as he jumped out of the puppet in his red hair form, pretty shocked and confused and scared for a little moment. After seeing the destruction of his puppet, he became pretty angry, and then he had to dodge once again when a sword was about to claim his head, as it was Itachi. As he said, you forgot about us, huh? As Itachi tried to put him a genjutsu, but he noticed about his body that was different, so he was not able to put him in any type of genjutsu whatsoever. As Sasuke smirked, well, allow me the honors, big brother, as he rushed towards Sasori, as Sasori gritted his teeth. Now he has to handle several Mangekyo Sharingan users, while on the other hand, Naruto was glaring at Deidara, who was flying on a bird, and said, well, Brat, you're strong, but it's about time I take this friend of yours. If you have guts, take it. As he rushed into the air, thinking that now the 9th Jinchuriki is going to follow him and is going to tire him out and then take him down as well. But he was beyond shock when Kid was simply flying behind him as his eyes widened. What? You can fly? But how? But it was already too late when a shock of power, as it was a small blast of chakra, simply went past him as his eyes widened when he stopped, when the blast stopped within the mid-air, and then it burst into, you can say, wind chakra, and it, you can say, wind compressed Rasengan, which Naruto made itself. It was different from the Rasen Shuriken because this blast has the wind chakra inside of it, and it was like a small bomb, and once it stopped, it burst into the same effects of the Rasen Shuriken. As Deidara's eyes widened as he had to jump out of it, as the clay bird was simply destroyed, but Gaara was now going to the ground, as Naruto simply vanished from the eyes of Deidara, and he grabbed Gaara, making a shadow clone, as Gaara was taken away by the shadow clone. As Deidara gritted his teeth, he was thinking of using the Kazekage as a lineage while tiring out the Ninetales Jinchuriki, and now he has bigger things to worry about, while on the other hand Sasori was running for his life as he was trying his best to escape from this troublesome situation, like some Nara would say, because he had several Ascendant Shinobi behind him. He thought that how Sasuke and Kyomi would be weak, but no, they were pretty strong, and definitely an A to Ascendant Shinobis, and it was no joke. And as for Kakashi and especially Itachi, it was pretty troublesome for him as he was trying his best to escape, but these four Ascendant Shinobis were not letting him, as he was now getting frustrated as he finally bring out the third Kazekage puppet, you can say the Ardent Sand, and started to use it, while Itachi was far beyond that level of third Kazekage, so it was getting pretty heating up with black flames, while on the other hand Deidara was running, or rather flying for his life, as he could see all of his attacks were simply reduced to nothing, as this gate has beyond anything of an affinity of lightning, as it has enclosed, you can say, envelop his body as well as surrounding area with lighting whenever he tried to make a cloud, you can say a clay of, you can say, clay bomb. It was simply reduced to nothingness thanks to the lightning, as he was now getting frustrated, though he has to save his life because this gate was tailing him like there was no next day, as Deidara was trying his best, while on the other hand Naruto had a smirk on his face. Now he was enjoying himself after such a long time of training. He could see that his levels has come to a point when an S-rank shinobi is making an S-rank shinobi run from me. Well, it was not the first time, because Orochimaru was an S-rank, but it does not matter. He's having his fun, as he simply vanished from the eyes of Deidara, who was now trying to find him desperately, but then it boom could be heard as his bird once again got destroyed as he tried to make another, but then lightning started to strike him out of mid-air as whole of his body started to electrocute it, and it boomed to the ground. But in the mid of time he was able to substitute and was able to reduce the damage, but now he was on the ground as he said, well Brett, you're pretty strong, but it does not matter because the art is a blast, as he had already planted several bombs to the ground, as not only smirk at that, as the whole area got boom, as Deidara had a big smirk on his face. Now he has got a kid, but then his eyes widened from the shadow as all the smoke simply burst into nothingness from a shock of power which was simply radiating from Naruto's body, and said, you are pretty strong, Deidara. I've heard that you once wanted the seat of a Tsuchikage. Well, that's a good thing for Stone Village, because someone as dumb and weak as you can never be a Kage of any village. As Deidara's eyes widen, and your art is truly pathetic. As Deidara's eyes widened and anger started to fill his eyes as he said, how dare you, you little brat! Now you will pay for it! As he tried to rush towards Naruto, trying to engage in a taijutsu battle in pure fury, which was a mistake as Naruto punched him on his gut so hard as he started to puke out blood with a single punch. He was sent flying so far from the area as most of the trees simply turned into nothingness, as Naruto had a smirk on his face as he started to walk towards Deidara. Well, your chakra reserves are nothing compared to me. Your art is complete nonsense. Your taijutsu is not existence. While on the other hand, your personality is simply nothing but a trash, as Deidara was only slammed into a tree as he was huffing and puffing and said, you really think that my art is nothing but trash. You will pay for it, you little brat. As he, you can say, simply scoffed his shirt off and said, now I will show you the true art. As he started to open the mouth that was on his chest with a, you can say, maniac look on his face, as Naruto was pretty confused. And then the mouth opened and started to eat a lot of clay. As he said, now I will show you the true art is a blast. Cuts as finally the stealth explosion gone off, as there was a big boom, as everyone from the area could watch, as this was a big attack that was started to radiate power. As Naruto only looked towards the attack, as he simply shook his head and started to fly upward. As Naruto was pretty surprised when the blast was still coming towards him. As Naruto said, pretty powerful if I must say. Well, he was definitely an S rank. This is the least I can say for him, as he rushed towards the skies once again, as the blast tried to catch him, but it was to no avail, because the speed and the power that was behind the, you can say, the fly of this kid was beyond anything, as he was finally able to escape the blast, while on the other hand, Sasori Deidara was both taken down, because there was no Sasuke retrieval arc. As Naruto returned back to the, you can say, Itachi and Kakashi and everyone, as they looked towards him, as Kakashi said, Naruto, what was that attack? Don't tell me that you are the one who used it. As Naruto simply shook his head, well, I can use more powerful attacks if I want to, Kakashi-san, but I don't need to. As that guy simply, he was not able to beat me, so he tried to self-explode himself. As Kakashi's eyes widened, and how did you escape from that? It almost blew off half of the forest. As Naruto said, well, I flew. As Kakashi has a dumb-fronted look on his face, thinking that he's getting way too old for this shit. As Itachi simply nodded, well, we have already taken down Sasori. As Sasori's dead body was on the ground with two, you can say, sword piercing through his heart. As Naruto simply nodded and said, well, I have been able to save Gaara. As the clone landed beside him. Well, boss, here's Lord Gaara. As Gaara was on the ground and started to, you can say, finally wake up, as half of the Shikaku was extracted from his body. But still, he had half of it, so that was more than enough to save him. Now, let us go on the Akatsuki base, as Pain was angry about the whole situation. They were not able to get the whole Shikaku, but it seemed that half of it will just do fine. Though, if they had full Shikaku, there would be no Jinchuriki left for stand, and they would have left their enemies wake, though the 10 tails would still be revived with even half of the bijus of every biju. Even the 9 tails half power, not even half of it will be more than enough, as the 10 tails will be resurrected. But if the shinobi world has Jinchurikis like them, they will try to fight off against him, and that will be futile. But he do not want to kill so many people to prove his point, just to leave them weak enough to understand his point. As he simply shook his head, well, that is beyond something, he cannot handle it right now. So, the Kazekage was saved, huh? Well, it does not matter, they got their objective, that is more than enough. After all, One Tails is just a weakling to begin with. Now, let us go on the side of Gaara, as Gaara was finally back in the Sand Village, as everyone was cheering for Lord Kazekage, as Gaara was pretty happy to see his family, his village once again, which he protected, as he thought that his life has finally come to an end. But no, he got saved by one of his friends, and he was really happy about it, as all of them had a small feast. And finally, it's about time, as Itachi finally, you can say, was about to activate his Susanoo, as then Sasuke smirked, well, not this time, big brother. But before even he could do, a pink aura surrounded all of them, as it was Kiyomi, as she had a big smile on her face, as it was the perfect Susanoo, enveloping all of them, as Sasuke started to mumble about something ungrateful and how it is not acceptable, those type of words, as everyone simply chuckled at that. As Kakashi said, so Kiyomi, you have been able to activate this power as well, huh? As Kiyomi simply nodded, well, I have great chakra control, that was not that hard if you ask me, Kakashi-san. As Kakashi simply nodded at that, and they were flying back to the Leaf Village, as Naruto was simply chatting with Kakashi about different things, as Kakashi was pretty curious about the lighting affinity that Naruto has. So Naruto, how much mastery of affinities you actually have? As Naruto looked towards Kakashi, to be honest, I have mastery over all 5 elements to a point where I can even use the natural elements like water, wind and earth, even lightning and air. As Kakashi's eyes widened, wait, you have a lightning affinity? To that extent, huh? Well, Tell me about it. As he started to talk about it, and Naruto said, well, there are many techniques I developed in this time, Kakashi-san. From specially lightning, it is an offensive element after all. Though I can, if you want to, I can teach you one or two. As Kakashi simply nodded and said, well, I wonder what type of rank would that be? As Itachi said, don't worry, he only developed from S rank to triple S rank jutsu. As Kakashi has a dumbfounded look on his face as he was about to say that how he is so proud of his Chidori which he made when he was a child, considered to be a rank jutsu, but he simply shut his mouth, thinking that how ungrateful you can say the world actually is. As Naruto was about to say something, but then he sensed something from far away as he narrowed his eyes. As everyone noticed that, Itachi said, Naruto, what is that? What are you talking? What's the problem, Naruto? As Naruto said, well, Itachi, go back to the village. I'll be joining you guys. As before, Itachi could say anything, Naruto simply vanished in a small blur. As Kakashi, as everyone were simply dumbfounded at that. As Kakashi said, isn't that the flying Raijin? As Itachi simply nodded, and where did he go? Don't tell me, he has returned back to the village. As while on the other hand, Itachi and as well as Kakashi, both of them at the same time had a horrified look on their faces as both of them looked towards each other. Damn it, Hokage's wife is going to kill both of them. As okay guys, here I will left this part. Hope you guys like it. In the next part I shall cover the Akatsuki. Naruto will handle all the Akatsuki members, and if Madara is resurrected, then you guys will definitely see what I have thought about Madara versus Naruto. It will definitely be a battle to remember. Okay guys, here I will left this part. For the next part, the like goal is, you guys already know, as well as the comment goal. So yeah guys, do that. 180 comment, 300 likes, and I shall upload the next part today. So yeah guys, peace.